What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys today because we're going to be talking Harpie. I know many of you definitely wanted to hear me talk about Harpie, especially because there's been a recent video that has dropped. Not by me, but by Underground Yu-Gi-Oh! Talking about Harpie cards and the Harpie archetype. And I'm not going to slam anybody in this video, but I just want to bring some things up because I don't want people to feel like, it's just one-sided opinions. I like the fact that there was at least two people in the video saying, hey, no, Harpies are good, and these are the things to defend the Harpies, because Harpies definitely need some defending. Harpies aren't meta enclosed deck here that does 15 different Omni negates on turn 1, or have all these 15 different, counteractive that decks you see today do. Harpie was very casual. Harpie has a lot of playability, and at least respect the Yu-Gi-Oh's first archetype, because no, it ain't Gravekeeper. I don't care how many of these Yu-Gi-Oh kiss-ups want to scream Gravekeeper. Gravekeeper has not had as many cards Harpie did starting out. And look how long it took them to even have the cohesiveness. It took Harpie a little longer, but Harpie still had relatively 5 to 6 cards for Gravekeeper had their 3. And the thing about Harpie that I will always defend Harpie on is that even if Harpie isn't meta, Harpie still has a lot of flexibility and has a lot of range of plays as well. It's just unfortunately, they aren't meta. And I hate when I always have to bring in the term meta, because that's the only thing that Yu-Gi-Oh players, beat themselves to is, ooh, what's going to be the next meta deck? And it's like, maybe some things just don't need to be meta. Maybe people just like them to be, capable of doing shit and not happening to sit on being relevant in terms of, quote, meta. Because remember, when Harpies were meta, no one wanted to accept the fact that Harpie was meta. Everybody screwed, oh, Harpie just rolled. And then people had to prove them wrong. Like, no, Harpie's here. Harpie has good engine. It's just that when the engines of other things started to get better, just like most things in Yu-Gi-Oh!, those things happen, and things do tend to change. Then things get a lot harder for some decks to compete with. And even when we get legacy support, which that does happen, sometimes legacy support hits well, and sometimes it doesn't hit well. And 2019 was a year, guys. And as much as I love getting the new support we did in Legendary Duelist Pack Sisters of the Rose, I will be one of many to say, yeah, there was a lot of issues with Duelist Pack Sisters of the Rose. And, I love Perfumer, I love Oracle, but I feel like Konami really did let the ball down. And while I didn't watch too much of Underground Yu-Gi-Oh's video, just off like the first few minutes of it, I will potentially say this. There are some cracks in Harpie that does need to be fixed, just like most any other archetype. The thing is that it is up to Konami to decide when they want to do that and how fast they want to help support Harpie when it comes to it. Because, well, right now they're still milking the 25th anniversary for like the last 3 years. And then on top of that, there's, these issues of dealing with the current state of the metagame, which they constantly still have that whole thing to figure out on their own. But when I look at a lot of this stuff overall, I will be honest with you, I love the fact that Harpie still get this attention, but I feel like there is a lot of things that still have not been addressed with Harpie, and I would love for Konami to address it, because Harpies are doing extremely well in Rush Duel. They had a really good run in Duel Links for a good period of time, and remember, Harpies were meta in Duel Links for a good period of time because they brought a lot of the stuff in the TCG, OCG into Duel Links, and it did extremely well, thanks to Sign of the Harpie. Hell, they had to hit Elegant Egotist and a lot of one-off spells and traps because of how good Harpie had got in Duel Links. Because, oh no, we can't have too many of these things, and they had to rework my skill for Harpie's Hunting Ground, and oh yeah, I remember that. So don't say Harpies are, haven't been good, because, baby, I'm the Harpie player that has the receipts, and I can show you where Harpies have been good. And I can even show you where Harpies were at Worlds, because most people don't remember that. I remember that, because I was there when someone sent me the link right before the feature match started at Worlds. And I believe that was the Worlds 2015, because Cleefort had just came out. No, Cleefort was out. Clee had just got a major hit. The Worlds event was going on, and someone sent me a link saying, hey, Harpies are at Worlds. And I remember watching that feature match and even listening in on a lot of people talk about it, because yeah, Harpies were at Worlds. Most people don't know that. It didn't win Worlds. That would have been a major factor of things. It didn't win Worlds, but it did go to Worlds. And it got 18th place. So, trust and believe, when I did those retro deck profiles, that was the one retro deck I still, till this day, do not have access to, is the Harpie deck list from Worlds of 2025. 2015. 2015. Because, unfortunately, yeah, the player who played it did not release his deck list. He's, I think, from Germany. And he did not release his deck list. Which I'm sure if he would definitely have dropped it. But there is a video up of him playing Harpies at Worlds, because someone did record that. And the benefactor of things here for this video, like I said, is to talk about what aspects of Harpies, it's not the aspect of Harpies. Let me scratch that. I would like to see Harpie cards in the near future be as cohesive as they were in 2013 to 2015. Meaning, I would like to see newer Harpie cards work well with the older ones, but also, if you're going to bring these new things in, that everybody works well together. Because when 2019 came and we got Legendary Duelist Pack Sisters of the Rose, I was very disappointed at a point, because I felt like the one thing that they should have done, and Konami didn't do it, was give us a retrain of Harpie Lady Sisters that definitely had some benefits to it. Not saying that we won't see a Harpie Lady Sisters retrain, but I would love to see one, especially after the fact that we see Harpie Lady Sisters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel do extremely well, even as a maximum monster. A lot of the things Harpies have in Rush Duel are extremely good, and definitely would be a great benefactor to Harpies now in current meta, because they have monster removal. They have a ton of cards to play around with in terms of making things cohesive. I would love to see a lot of things. I'll list the things that I'd love to see Harpies have. Because I've said this time and time again, but I guess I'll say it once more. I'd love to see my Harpies get a monster that is like Cyber Dragon, where it comes onto the field if there's no other monsters on the field, but your opponent has some. Or even be like Evil Swarm Mata Gondra, and if the number of monsters on your opponent's side of the field are more than yours, then you can summon that monster. We have Harpie Oracle, we have Harpie Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire, but let's be real, they still need a Harpie monster to even interact with being special summoned. And I would love to see a Cyber Dragon monster do that for Harpie. I would like to see a cohesiveness of monster summoning. We have a monster that summons monsters from the deck. How about we get monsters that summon them from the grave? Gravekeepers have one in the form of Shaman, where she brings out the monsters from the grave. I would like to see Harpies get that. There's definitely, the spell and trap searching situation. Can we get cards that search for Harpie Lady in its name? Not just Hysteric, or, this card says Harpie in its name. So you have Hysteric signed for that, which is limited to, using its ability once per turn and only once that turn. Because both of its effects are definitely beneficial. Getting Elegant Egotist from the deck or graveyard to your hand, and then having the ability to pop your card or shoot your card from the hand or field, to then be able to go get more Harpie cards and add them to your hand. I think it was kind of one of the big oofs for Harpies is when Sign got that with Sign's whole effect. But I still see how broken it would be, because you can use both effects. But then again, they printed a card like Harpie like a alluring mirror split, which can still use both of its abilities during the same turn. It's just once per turn each. And I think if Hysteric Sign got that rewording to say its effects can be used once per turn each, it would definitely be a major factor of play. The other thing that I would like to see, I know, well, some people said they like to see this, and it's the fusion monster. Because when Harpies came out, they were part of the DM era. And most DM decks have fusions. Harpies didn't have a fusion monster. Harpies didn't really have anything for the extra deck. They just relied on other archetypes, extra deck cards to help support them. And to be very fair and to be very honest with you, I would like to see some of that if that is the case. But I don't think Harpies need a ritual monster, because then that's like really reaching. And then if we get another monster for the extra deck, or extra deck monsters of Harpies, here's the thing. I don't just want a fusion monster. I'd love to see Harpies get a new Link monster. A Link 3 at that, because with the loss of some more, I think Harpies getting a Link 3 would definitely be beneficial. And I definitely would like to see it be more of an expansion from Harpie Conductor. Which Harpie Conductor is a great monster. But I want more things to come from that than just a monster who sits here and, you know, play her effects to be the greatest offense is a good defense situation. I would like to see more of that. And then from there, I would like to see the spell and trap negation. Because we don't have any Harpie monsters that do negation. We don't have any Harpie cards that do negation except for monster negation. I would like to see spell and trap negation. And that's simply because we have a lot of Harpie cards that do pieces, we have a lot of cards that do removal, monster removal, but we don't have any that does, negation for spells and traps. We have a lot of spell and trap removal, but no negation attached to it. And I think that would definitely be a beneficial thing, is to have those cards that help with that. I still watch a lot of other people in my comments who say the same thing. And that's definitely one of the benefits there, because between Rush Duel and regular TCG, OCG, I feel like Rush Duel is definitely getting the better end of the stick. And I would like it to be fair, at least considering how long Harpies had been in Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially when Harpies were in Bandai, coming into Konami, and Konami doing their version of it. The stress hold of bullshit that we Harpie players had to deal with between Rise of Destiny going into Force of the Breaker, then from Force of the Breaker going into Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy, and then the one-offs in between those, and just I would like to have at least one wave of Harpie support that rises the Harpies from the grave. That's it. That's literally it. I would like to see a lot of that. And once that does come into fruition, definitely I would like to see that improvement, because I would love to see a lot of this improve. I do also want to state that I have been in the background making my own little, like, fan-esque Harpie stuff. And I still have a lot of it that I would like to show and tell and talk about. Maybe one day for a video. But it does glimpse into the factor of things that I've seen where people just, they make these fan cards. I'm like, is you real? I see why the R&D department has a lot of things going on for them, because you can't make the card too broken, but you also got to factor in how this would work with the archetype or with the deck, and how many times I've gone back and forth through the drawing board when it comes to making these Harpie cards that I have in my head. But it's not the design, it's more so the utility of things. And while some things are a lot better, some things you have to scratch off the surface because you don't want them to be broken, but you want them to be beneficial. And that's probably what a lot of us want to. We can scream we want this, we can scream we want that, but I actually legitimately sit down and ask a lot of Harpie players, what would you like the card for itself to do? What are its stats going to be? What is it, is it a spell? Is it a trap? Is it a monster? Lay these things out, not just say, I want this, this, and this. Because having or wanting this, and this doesn't really factor in. You gotta say how you know, the cohesiveness, the things. You gotta think about these things too, because this is some of the stuff that people think about when they're making their decks or when they're filling out the archetypes and stuff as well. So it's just something I wanted to bring to the table. So, to conclude this video and this discussion, yes, I want more Harpie support, but I want it to come and be cohesive. You know, I do also want to remind other Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creators that just because an archetype doesn't have what the current meta has, don't leave it out as being bad. Because, you know, we've seen a lot of those, you know, rise from the ashes and do extremely well. And in addition, just because it's not meta doesn't mean it's trash. It just has a hard time dealing with stuff. That's all. And, you know, I'm not going to, you know, hate somebody for, you know, factors of things. I just want to point out that please don't come for someone's archetype if you can't get things together, because some things just, you know, aren't like that. So, with that said and done, I'm sure many of you are going to have your opinions and stuff in the comment section. So please go right ahead. I'm sure you're more than welcome to do that. And I'll also be in the comment section too, just to give off some of my own opinions and stuff as well. So with that said and done, thanks everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. You know, enjoy the rest of your week and stuff like that. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, as it helps out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed of when more content is going to be uploaded. Socials are in the description box below. And of course, if you guys would like to see some more of my content, you're more than welcome to. It's, you know, previous playlist and previous videos. So, with that said, thanks everyone for watching. HPJ, signing out.